Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of our movie reviews and movie storylines on the Ever More 1993 YouTube channel. Hope you're good, hope you're amazing. How's your week been? I hope you are glorious. Okay, so I'm Stephanie, a new YouTuber based in Abuja, Nigeria, West Africa, and this is my page. You're welcome. Today's review is going to be of the TV series called Vincenzo. Yes, it's a South Korean TV drama with 20 episodes. Yes, this one is a bit longer. Stay tuned. Welcome. How have you been? I hope you're amazing. I hope you've watched our previous videos. If you haven't, make it a date. After this video, go watch our previous videos, both our long and short span videos. Show support, like, comment, subscribe, share. Be a part of the brand, support what we're doing here because we are going places. Join on now, y'all. So for today's movie, like I said, it's a South Korean TV series. It has 20 episodes, guys, and it was released, I think, in the year 2020. And so it's really a drama about a dude who can shoot a gun and shoot it well. Okay? But, it takes a different angle in that, he's used to shooting guns. He's a Korean who was brought up in Italy, so he speaks the language. He's a consigliere to a very top level Italian family, top level mafia Italian family. Okay, he's their lawyer. He helps them handle deals and make sure they get what they are looking for. By all means necessary, if you know what I mean. And so he's pretty good at his job, but his boss is dead now, so the film opens with him handling the last deal or the last job for his boss, who is now dead. And so he reports to this vineyard owned by another Italian family. He's having a conversation with the owner of the vineyard. He says the vineyard owner killed somebody who's a friend of his boss. That's our male lead's boss, and so they're here to give him some kind of last chance to make up for the crime he has committed. And the guy seems very confident of his backup, there's a different family backing him up. There's nothing they can do to him and whatnot. Unknown to him, our male lead has already hired a helicopter to fly around the vineyard and pour I don't know if it's insecticide or pesticide across all, and those leaves are not conversant or compatible with the chemicals that have been sprayed all over them. Okay, so, and I have to say that the person that they came to see was very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? He was not alert to the helicopter hovering over him. He was more focused on his meal. He was eating at the time and addressing, our male lead very arrogantly, I would say. And so by the time he finally figures out what this helicopter is doing, it's already too late. It's already too late. He just rejected the offer of our male lead. So our male lead is leaving, and he lights a lighter and throws it up, and it's literally fire everywhere. And so he's hurrying, telling his workers to help save the situation, but it kind of is too late because his vineyard is burning up, and the person who is responsible for this, who is our male lead, is already living in his car. There's nothing he can do. From there, our male lead goes straight to the funeral of his boss, who had died, of course, pays his last respect, and has to go see the new boss, who is the son of our main boss. And so it's clear that they're not going to be friends. It's clear that they're not on the same page because our new boss wants loyalty of our male lead, and he's not willing to give it. And so that night, our male lead gets a message, a very dangerous message from the new boss in town. He wants to kill our male lead right before the movie begins. What? Hell no. So of course our male lead was of course expecting this from his new boss, and so he shows the men out the way he knows how to with a gun, and sends a message right back to the new boss whilst on his way out of Italy to Korea, letting him know, you know what, I will never support you, you don't deserve to be the boss, never contact me again or else, you know, you'll be dead. And I saved and spared your life because I still honor your father, who happens to also be my adopted father or adoptive father. That's the only reason you're alive. You know, that's the last phone call he makes to his new boss, and he's out of Italy to Korea. Now in Korea, he has arrived, and he's greeted by something I think is probably popular there. Beware if you're going to Korea. These men pose as one poses as a security official who's trying to make sure he's not an imposter or anything, and looks through his passport at the airport. Another one poses as a limousine driver who proceeds to drive him, and unknown to him, there are bottles of water in the limousine. He takes one to drink and he is unconscious. Apparently he was drugged, and so he's, you know, they steal all of his belongings and leave him with just enough to get on a bus to ride out. That's literally his welcome back to Korea. Yeah, it's crazy. It happened at the airport. And so he finds his way back to Korea. What is he coming to Korea to do? This is where they tell us what it is. So he is connected to this Chinese billionaire who's looking for a way to, you know, preserve his illegal funds outside of the Chinese eye. That way he doesn't have to pay tax and reveal the nature of his job and the source of his income, right? So he's looking for ways to be able to preserve this illegal fortune he has outside of China. This is where his contact brings in our male lead. Our male lead proceeds to tell him of a process that they carry out for other clients. They buy an old building in South Korea and then proceed to, you know, build an entire vault underground in that building without anybody knowing, without obtaining any construction license or permit of any kind. They build a massive underground vault that would be powered by the iris of the owner as well as his thumbprint. Okay, and also they build the vault with such a system in that anyone who tries to illegally gain access to it, the entire building will collapse and kill the person within. That is the way it's built. And so this billionaire, this Chinese billionaire, agrees for such a thing to be done for him. So they build this in Korea, and they store all of his gold underground in this vault, right? And then a year or so after, this man ends up dying. And so our male lead finds out in the media that this man is dead, and what does he think? To go and take over the man's fortune in that Korean old building. So that is why our male lead is going back to Korea to take over that position. Okay, and so he's back in Korea. He has a contact, you know, the person who introduced him to the Chinese billionaire is also Korean and happens to be welcoming him back to Korea. So they go to the building, and of course, just to make sure nobody suspects anything, they rent out it's a shopping complex building. So they rent out some of the shops to, you know, tenants, you know, to start selling goods there. That way, to the public eye, to the layman, it's just a shopping building. No one would know that this is an entire vault with gold underground. Isn't that crazy? And so yeah, he's now at the shopping complex with, you know, his co-owner, shall I call him. And so he proceeds to introduce him to each and every one of the tenants, and boy, is it a comedy show. None of the tenants like them, none of the tenants welcome them. It's just expressions of anger all through. And really funny scenes as well. You have to watch to see. And so that's how he meets all of the tenants. And then, you know, one of the tenants happens to be a lawyer, you know, and so the lawyer is the only one who comes up to him and introduces himself and like asks him who he is and everything. And he's able to say his name, Vincenzo. And of course he looks Korean, so why the name? And so that's where he proceeds to tell everybody that he's Italian. you know, and everything. There's a tenant there, just, I think this is for comedy's sake, that pretends to have studied you know, to be a chef in Italy. So instantly the other neighbors turn to him and like, oh, see, somebody from Italy, so you can talk with him. And he begins to act suspicious because obviously he's been lying to all the other tenants that he studied in Italy. You know, that's the funny part for the film for those who would venture into watching this. And so yeah, they're trying to oppose a corporation from buying the plaza. The corporation wants to buy the plaza, you know, bulldoze it and build something else there, and the tenants do not want that to happen. The owner of the plaza, who happens to be the co-founder, you know, who arranged the whole Chinese billionaire meeting with our male lead, also opposes this move. But of course the Korean corporation are pushing hard to see that they get the building. So the lawyer is in charge of helping them with the case to make sure that the corporation doesn't get the building. And so yeah, he hopes that he can get our male lead to join his team to make sure, you know, this corporation doesn't succeed in buying this building over. And so before we are too deep into the film, the corporation sends, you know, thugs to the house of the co-owner to threaten him into signing the contract and selling the building over to them. And so his wife and children are held hostage, so he's forced to sign the contract, and because of that, the corporation has bought the building. Now it's up to them to force the tenants to leave. They hire a completely different company that are apparently enforcers. They are there to threaten, maltreat the tenants until they are forced to leave. Apparently this is a job some companies carry out for corporations in Korea. Isn't that crazy, guys? And so yes, this team comes in and they're trying to threaten them and holding hostage the lawyer's daughter. And that's when, you know, our male lead Vincenzo shows what he's made of. You know, the lawyer with another feature or another, what should I say, an advantage in that he can fight and he can look good in the suit whilst he fights. Okay? I don't know how many people who do that, but our lead can do that. And so yes, there's some fight scenes that are really cool to see and whatnot, and a lot of Italian spoken there and whatnot. And so just watch to find out. I'm not gonna dish it all out because I still want you to, you know, see something new when you watch this film. But it's definitely an eye candy for sure. Those who are wondering, this one is an eye candy, and this one ends well. It ends with a happily ever after, sort of. And so yes, he proceeds to try and get the building back. You know, throughout the film, it's really the corporation Babel. You know, it's called Babel, and just their ploys to see that they get whatever they want, however they want it. And just this group of tenants, the lawyers, and our male lead Vincenzo, who's really fighting as much as he can within the law, a little bit outside the law, to try and defend themselves, to see that Babel doesn't get what they're looking for, to see that they really have a hard time too whilst losing. You know, a lot of situations come up where there's a lot of talk and fight between the two teams, and we always see Vincenzo and his team come out on top most of the time because Vincenzo has kind of dealt with the mafia, so he has a first knowledge on how to deal with ruthless people. So he brings that knowledge to bear with dealing with these people, and they really haven't met anybody who's come from the mafia, who's a consigliere to a mafia family, who's now in Korea, using all that knowledge and all that connect to see that he gets what he's looking for. You know, so they really struggle a lot with this guy. They really cannot wrap their head around him, and for major parts of the film, you see Babel crumble and really have a hard time defending themselves as the corporation they are at the face of this guy. Not to talk of the owner of Babel, like, he pretends to be an intern lawyer at a firm whilst running it with his stepbrother at the head. Like, The film is crazy. If you see who our CEO is at first, you would not believe he's the one who's this ruthless, who's the CEO, because he's a completely different character. He seems not put together, he seems unprofessional, he seems like he doesn't even deserve the job. How did they even get him this job? But when he finally takes on the position of CEO, it's a completely different, it's a turn, you guys, it's a turn. And just to see just how much havoc that guy wreaks. There's a murder committed by him. Oh my goodness, he killed his own father, you guys. Yes, he killed his own father. That's the wreck that owns a corporation. And like, it speaks to child upbringing. Like, the parents knew this guy had mental issues, he had a problem with his anger, and instead of sorting it out, they kind of try to cover it up. If he killed somebody, they would bribe the family, try to keep it under wraps, bribe the police to make sure it doesn't become a case. And his murder lust, shall I call it, kept growing to the point where he murdered his dad. His father was in a coma in the hospital, and he full-on injected this man with, the chemicals he didn't need into his body at a higher dosage than he needed. And watch this man die. Okay, and if he could kill his own father, is there anybody else he wouldn't? So we see this man commit murder over and over again throughout this film, incite others to do the same, pay others to do the same, and yes, it is a whole thing, guys. So I think I really like this film in that it addressed so many different things. We get to see our male lead in so many different shapes and sizes and colors. Like, even though it's panned towards one thing, they try to cover as many grounds as possible. And of course, the main lawyer died somewhere in the film, also incited by the CEO of this bubble. He died, so his daughter takes over his law firm and tries to make sure the work he started doesn't end, make sure he didn't die for nothing, rather. And so the sparks begin to fly between the daughter of this lawyer and our male lead, but they don't really address it until the very, very end. Everyone just keeps, taking it in, knowing that, I'm getting to like this guy, I'm getting to like this girl, but there's a task ahead, there's a task in front of them, there's a life and death type of thing. So there was really no time for the main part of the film to address the love story, but there were sparks flying, for those who are wondering about that. But they truly do address it at the end. I feel like the end part was made just to address the love that they both had for each other. And so for those who are wondering, there was a makeout session, yes, but mostly at the end. There was even a 1 year period in which nobody could tell where our male lead was. No one knew if he was alive, he was dead, and then he came back to see her and everything. He had bought an island out on his own, and he was inviting her over to come be with him there and everything. So there was a lot in the film that it addressed. It also addressed just how CEOs deal with things, and leaders in this kind of companies deal with things, and how, at least for Korea itself, like, just the power, the unchecked power a lot of these corporations have, just because they are rich and famous and whatnot. They have power over the police. They can really manipulate anything to their will. Even over the judges, they had a judge on their payroll, and really the man was just majorly there to make sure they won every court case. It's crazy. But just how Vincenzo and his team maneuver this judge to make sure he doesn't get his way is also something to watch, you guys. They frustrate this man to the point where anytime he sees them, he just knows he's in for trouble. So yes, you all have to watch this one to see how that happens. Vincenzo is a really dope film. It had a lot of rave reviews. People really loved it. And for those who are wondering, Our male lead in this film is the same male lead from our first film that we covered on this page, Descendants of the Sun. So those who are wondering, this is the film he did right after Descendants of the Sun and right after, alas, his unfortunate divorce. So yes, this is the next film he handled, and boy did he handle this one. Okay, this one was really, really cool. It was really a dope film. He did this correctly, and I would actually say, of my own opinion, that I felt like he was still trying to find the magic that he had created in Descendants of the Sun, which is why he took this project on. Because anyone who watched that film know that that film had magic. There was a miracle in that film. And so I feel like he was chasing that feeling, trying on a film of this magnitude that is low-key kind of similar to Descendants, okay? And so he was kind of trying to put himself right back there. He was feeling nostalgic, which I think is why he took this movie on. This might not have been the only script he got, but this is the one that appealed to him the most, because the last time he was on top of the world, he was doing something of this magnitude, and he wants to keep being on top of the world. So I kind of low-key feel like that is why he picked this project right after Descendants of the Sun. Whereas for a female lead in Descendants of the Sun, the project she picked right after Descendants of the Sun so shows she wasn't really chasing anything. She picked a different film where she was older than her lover, and she was fighting for her inheritance from a marriage to a rich man. You know, they were getting a divorce, and she wanted to hold on to this hotel company that she had been given. You know, they were trying to take the hotel company from her. If you've not watched The Encounter, you need to watch that. So she was trying to fight to own that and to prove that she could do it. And then she fell in love with this guy who turned out to be an employee in the company, and he was like, you know, and her ex-husband, who's this rich son, is trying to win her back. You know, it was a whole thing. So that was the film she did right after Descendants of the Sun. Just to show the contrast in what they both did right after their divorce, tells you where their both their minds and head spaces were at. She was really willing to move on from that, whilst he was pretty much still nursing the wounds and trying to indulge and try to recreate that moment as much as he could. So yes, either way, we got a great film out of it. So yeah, kudos to him. He really killed this one for sure. It was really dope and there was a lot of comedy. There are a lot of comedians in this one as well. For those who are wondering, as much as it's a movie about guns and everything, they really try to water it down or simmer it down from how serious it is with a lot of comedy. There's a lot of cracking moments. Our female lead is a comedian. Let me just say, she is just, there are no moments without this woman cracking you up. You're just wondering, how does she think? How does this come to her? She's just amazing as an actress. Makes you want to watch other of her projects to see if there's a pattern with the way she acted here, if it's a consistency with her in all of her roles. Just how she chose to interpret this character was really, really unique and refreshing and so funny to see and so lively. She was really lively. She was in this film, so you all have to watch if you haven't watched Vincenzo yet. You have to. It's definitely worth the watch. And like I said, it's a happily ever after kind of ending, even though it's more like a hinted happily ever after ending. It doesn't really show it. It more like hints that this is what happens, and then it ends. I guess a hint is more than enough for us, guys. So yes, Vincenzo is really a dope one. I would definitely recommend this to y'all to watch, and if you have watched it, then definitely let's hear about what you have to say about this one in the comment section. You know, if you do get to watch, tell us who's your favorite character, what's the best scene in this film, how would you have it rather ended, and you know, anything that you have to say about this film. If there are other ideas for videos you would like us to do on this channel, bless me, let us know in the comment section. I'll try to reply as many comments as I can. Like I always say, like, comment, share, subscribe to this channel, turn on post notifications and the bell icon, that way you know when we drop new content. Please go back and watch our previous long and short span videos and support the channel, support those videos. Like, share, comment, subscribe as well. Support your girl. We're brand new on YouTube, so we're trying to grow this channel. Support the brand, support us. And as I always say, I'm Stephanie, a brand new YouTuber based in Abuja, Nigeria, West Africa. And on this page, we post movie reviews, movie story times, love and live chats, and so on and so forth. Support the channel. God bless you as you do so. And like I always say, you're amazing, you're blessed, you're glorious, you are it, you're perfect. So keep glorifying God with everything that you do. Keep serving the purposes of humanity, and most importantly, you guys, keep loving on you. You are important, you are perfect, you are kind, you are everything God has created you to be. You have everything you need to succeed. You are it, you are deserving, you are worthy. God bless you. Until we come your way again, keep being amazing, keep staying amazing, keep being it, keep being perfect. Perfection is you. God bless you and have a beautiful week. Once again, like, share, comment, subscribe, and be amazing. Support the brand, support the channel, show your girl some love. And yeah, have a blessed day and a blessed week.